Hi guys, WutheringWaves, aka Kuro Games, just released information or showed a bit of the preview for the new area Mount Firmament. It looks really cool. So, as you can see here, it's saying that it is opening soon. At the time of this recording, it should be coming in about 3 or 4 days, depending on what time zone, where you are, etc. As you can see, the map looks pretty cool. It looks more mountainous-y, which is obviously, I guess, a bit more fitting based on what we saw from the Jinsei animation. There's new area events, and these are really cool. Now, to be clear, we don't know too much. These are just screenshots and a bit of like a description that we're being given. The first thing that's really cool is, of course, all the new rewards. Personally, I found myself needing way more credits now, especially now that I've hit level 50. It is kind of like a big jump. I know some of you guys may be familiar with it. Other gacha games where getting to like, let's say level 60 or 70 doesn't take that long. But once you hit 80, 90, you know, the skill enhancements, the leveling of characters, the weapon EXP all start scaling extremely hard. So I hope that there's actually a lot more credits here than there are echoes, but I digress. Having all the different exploration and puzzle solving rewards is really cool that are also coming alongside battle challenges, main quests, and gathering. Cool. There is going to be a new photo collection event. I'm assuming that this is supposed to just be in-game. I don't think this is going to be some out-of-game thing, although I think it would be cool if at some point Kuro Games decides to have like a, you know, like a screenshot or like a coolest screenshot or in-game photo contest. I think that would be kind of nice to kind of generate like fan art or, you know, fan content, etc. Now we have the area quests. We have exploration quests, which you guys might be familiar with based on what we had in 1.0. This was things like removing mist or removing the flames so that we could access certain areas. Based on the location, I'm assuming that this time around the exploration quest is going to stop us from, I don't know, having to deal with frozen or being too cold when we're in the area. What it says right here is that stranded in the wilderness, a young or a determined young woman strives to perform a sacred rite for the sentinel's well-being. Help her fulfill the rite of offering and uphold the ancient tradition. Again, don't really know what it's going to be. I don't know if it means that we're just not going to have access to an area, but formerly, exploration quests did not prevent us from going into an area. It just prevented us from taking damage or being like annoyed or having a hindrance when we're in the area. Now we also, of course, have more things like side quests. I saw a bit of a preview of this just based on what they showed on Twitter, and of course, I mean, you could just imagine what they're going to be adding to the game anyways in terms of additional quests or content. That's going to be things like, of course, I guess, less combat-focused things, or maybe this is more conflict-based content. It looks like maybe this is going to be some sort of stage. I can't really tell. Whatever it is, that's fine. But the thing that I'm actually really excited about when it comes to the update is this new side quest that is giving us presumably a weapon, Broadblade Beguiling Melody. Here's my concern with this weapon. Now, of course, being given a weapon in any gacha game or in any game in general is always terrific. You get great value out of it in pretty much any gacha game that you can imagine. Things like the fishing pole that I believe some players got in Genshin, any free Aeon or, you know, some content or some PvE contents, stores, free weapon that you can get by doing the content in a game like Star Rail, really good as well. I think it's called the Aeon that is like best in slot or really good for Firefly, who just came out. All these things are really good. However, the difference between this weapon and some of the weapons that I just mentioned is that this time around it's a 3-star. Now, if you haven't taken a look at the 3 stars, in some of the videos or guides that I've done, a lot of times the 3-star weapons are very lackluster. And I'm not saying like lackluster in a sense that, oh, they're only about like 5 to 10 to maybe like 15% difference. I mean, like sometimes they are like 23, 24, 25% worse than any other weapon, and in that case, why would you ever upgrade them? Having this weapon is totally fine. We don't really know anything about the weapon itself right now, though. Of course, if they just make it a super Giga Chad weapon like one of the fishing poles or one of the old weapons, and it ends up being really good, terrific. I'm super happy for this. Maybe it upgrades in the future. I'm not really sure, but it says that we received this after completing a side quest, and it's a broad blade, which will, I don't know, be useful for, I guess, like any character that needs a broad blade. But in any case, I think it's a little bit confusing because it's a 3-star. Like I said, we're not really sure. Like, does it transform? Does it end up becoming a 5-star? Like, I can't really tell. However, it being a 3-star, I think is very weird just because 3 stars have some of the worst stats in the game. It's literally the worst stats in the game. And there's no precedent for us to say whether or not this 3-star will even have better stats or have a better effect. From what I know right now, the Originite weapons are kind of okay because they have such a like super niche, super specific goal that they have or that they accomplish. And it does work if you're trying to run a support like Yang Yang or whoever it is on a healer set. Don't know what the state of this weapon's going to be though, because it would have to be really game breaking. That being said though, I could be wrong and they could make this a super good weapon as always and make it into transformative stages. No clue. Now there's also new scenes. I'm assuming this is like the cards that you can add to like your profile or something like this, but new scenes I also assume means new areas, which all look really cool. This is the one that everyone's most familiar with, which is like the Loon's Crest. It's just like what I imagine was shown maybe in the Jinsei story, but these other ones also look really cool. Like you have a little bit of a town, you have like this underground, you know, almost like watery, like submerged, I guess sunken ruins kind of location, and then we have, I guess, just another set of runes, which is really common. But regardless, I think the area is looking or shaping up to be pretty cool. There's a bunch of diversity. It's not just a small, like, you know, a small addition. This looks like a real whole location that has been added. And therefore, I'm pretty excited for at least the environment for 1.1. There are also new mechanics that have been announced. There's new puzzles and like the exploration and challenges that were mentioned previously, and this is probably going to be an explanation or a bit of a deep dive into what they're referring to. A chrono sorter is kind of cool looking just in literal animation. It's like you get to go back in time and change like the state of something, which in this case, the bridge was broken and then you get to reset it. Honestly, kind of cool effect and kind of a nice effect for immersion. Even if it's not the most complicated thing in the world, it doesn't have to be like a mind-bogglingly difficult puzzle for you to enjoy the fact that it's there. And they also have the photon vault and photon barrier. This looks pretty similar to like or it looks like a combination of something like a blobfly plus like the shooting challenges. It's more resources. It's a different kind of challenge. So at least they're trying a little bit to kind of spice up or vary the different challenges you have in the game. And then there's a new leap device, which could be pretty nice, honestly, if you're trying to traverse through the terrain. I think one of the things I found myself to be most annoyed with when it came to traversing or going about my overworld farming or my exploration was that it felt like most of the time I had to do like the super jump tech, or it felt like I was always out of stamina. If this kind of bridges the gap and it feels like when I'm exploring for the first time, it allows me to not feel like I'm walking for miles upon miles and miles, then great. Otherwise, I mean, it's not really that big a deal, but I think that having a leap device, I mean, it just looks cool too, is pretty enjoyable. It helps you get through the content, obviously, or traverse through the world a little bit faster. And ultimately, again, the more additions that they have to the game, or the more diversity, or the more different that every game or that every area appears, in my opinion, will kind of just, I guess, make it so that you aren't so jaded by what you're seeing. You're not just super, oh, well, like, this is just the generic desert area again, and like, oh, well, like, this is something we've already seen. It kind of spices up things, which I had already mentioned, and I understand, like, maybe that's not the greatest justification for whether or not you would like a new piece of content like this. In my opinion, not having to see the same, like, 5 or 10 puzzles, which, by the way, and sometimes they don't even go away, because they want you to, like, compete for a high score, but having new environments or having new areas or new challenges, new things to interact with, I think are pretty cool. And then finally, they go a little bit further into the challenges, and as you saw there for a second, we still have the blobfly and we still have chests like this, so nothing is getting removed, I assume, but they are adding new things. So like this Clang Bang challenge is like, it looks like you're playing as an ice cube, which is kind of goofy. It does mean that you transform into an echo, which again, I think is also really cool. But this is more for like the explorative at heart. If you enjoy the exploration of the game, if you aren't really super sweaty for the Tower of Adversity, or if you don't really care about the holograms, then this is really cool. And this is actually the most exciting thing that I saw, just based on like the previews when I kind of ran through this briefly before I started the video. You get to ski now, which is unbelievably something that I don't think most games or most gacha games that have snow in them even allow you to do. Now again, it doesn't look that like painfully complicated or anything, but it doesn't have to. You know, it's a skiing effect that feels like I'm immersed. It's like a break from like the monotony of just farming 3 or 4 star echoes all the time. And personally, I'm a fan of it. There is also a wind chimer thing. I think this is like another like the crystal, or sorry, the Sonnet's casket equivalent, specifically for this. I'm not sure if we're going to be given the stamina. However, a big criticism, honestly, that I kind of have in general about like the Sonnet's caskets and the collectibles, I kind of wish that there was a bit more of like a unique reward that was associated with it. Of course, you do get the stamina for doing things like this, but even for upgrading or maxing the exploration of the first 1.0 area, the reward is kind of bland. It doesn't really feel like you're doing anything outside of just completing or exploring all the maps. You just get a I guess, a semi-decent reward. Again, you get some things like Resonator EXP or, you know, whatever EXP, Echo EXP, Weapon EXP, which is okay, but I kind of want, I don't know, something kind of funny. Maybe like a 4-star weapon would be really nice, considering, honestly, most of the 3 and 4 stars are already kind of bad in the game. But maybe that weapon that we talked about later will have something tied to this with its exploration. It's too early to tell, and we aren't sure. But that was the entire patch, which, again, we don't see too much of the game, so you're still kind of, your appetite is still wet, and you're anticipating what's going to come out. But I think this is a pretty cool area. It's a snowy area, even though it's literally June, and it's super hot out. Maybe the cold and like the snowy area will kind of cool us down. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. To be clear, I don't want to say that there aren't things that they need to work on. Personally, I know a lot of people were complaining about Echo EXP and, you know, how hard it was to get Echoes. They've been addressing things, like they've given us a 2x event for it, and they've also given us databank level 21. But again, just as a final kind of note about this, and something that I was kind of concerned about was fixing one bottleneck usually doesn't mean that a bottleneck goes away. It usually means that another bottleneck arises. So in this case, although they did fix the Echo and the, you know, the tacit fields and such like that, or fix it by like giving us a 2x event, it does feel kind of bad that now I'm just out of credits. And like at the same time, well, now I'm spending so much time farming Echoes. Well, now I can't upgrade my character's skills, or like now I can't like, you know, get my weapon to like level 80, which is a bit more concerning, because especially these past few days, I've actually had to spend almost all of my energy just on credits if I even want to upgrade my Echoes or even upgrade some of my my skill enhancements. I guess I digress. It's not really that big a deal. I guess if you're not terminally ill, farming out, I guess like the perfect set of Echoes, you should be maybe a bit more okay on resources. However, from my personal experience, it doesn't feel that good. Hi guys, I thought that was going to be the end of the video, but right as I was about to upload and do everything, right as I was about to upload and edit and ship this all out, they made another huge reveal, which was some of the stores, some of the actual city life. Let's take a look. And now, as you can see, this is going to be Huanglong. I'm just not good with these names, but it's the new area. And take a look, because it does look pretty cool. There's a couple new areas that they're showing, the Gate of Firmament. There's a new character that's being introduced as well. It looks like she's another really important character. We don't really know anything about what the character looks like, but if she's anything like Jin Si, well, I'm pulling. Anyways, now we see there's another material that we can harvest. Water plums looks really cool. There's Sagasi, the springs, which is really cool as well. I do think that having more locations that are primarily just there for environment and more of immersion is kind of cool, because that allows you to take more photos or kind of live out your fantasy a little bit more. Having everything just be a destination for a quest, or having everything specifically there just so you can beat up Echoes and stuff, is nice in theory, but much worse in practice. There's also a Springs Therapy, which I'm assuming is a piggyback off of whatever the top is, which also looks pretty cool. It says that we're supposed to prepare a pot of cold tea and basket of snacks, so maybe this is a location you could hang out with your friends. So I will say, kind of piggybacking off of what I had initially thought earlier with the exploration quests, it says here that there's a warm reminder, which is that you shouldn't grow addicted to the warmth of the spring, and sitting in the bath will result in a loss of consciousness. Who knows if that's a quest? Who knows if that's like a secret hidden Easter egg? But this note and a couple of the other notes are a bit confusing, because it kind of insinuates that maybe there's a secret, a chest, something that we haven't already seen or don't know quite yet that may be introduced in 1.1. And further evidence kind of insinuating that there's more than meets the eye, or there's more secrets to be had here, is kind of the description for like the water shadow screen, the water shadow play, and the brewing tea. At face value, these look like nice environmental things, more aesthetic or more kind of cosmetic, kind of building furniture things that can just be out and about in the world. However, for them to specifically mention or ask you to take a look at them, as opposed to them just kind of being out and about in the world, for me seems a bit suspicious. I'm probably gonna check them out to see if there's anything hidden in there, like chests, maybe goodies, maybe a quest, who knows. However, I think with Kuro's track record, it's safe to say that there's probably gonna be something worth investigating or looking into for these areas. I mean, there's a whole extra section here about the legend about Stream of Snow Shadows. Maybe there's something here where you have to pick this up and it ends up being the beginning of a quest line. Who knows? Another big thing that they showcased here is the souvenir and the pharmacy shop, which of course they're only showing you the visual of it, and to be fair, it does look pretty cool. But the big takeaway from this, outside of the actual aesthetic or the visuals of this, is that we're gonna have more things to buy, including potentially Resonator EXP, credits, maybe more Echo EXP as well, all of which are very exciting. But the pharmacy also being here means that we'll have another set of maybe flowers or resources from the new area that we can use to craft or whatever it is we need to do with them. In any case though, guys, that was actually the final update, hopefully, that we've seen when it comes to the game. Patch 1.1 looks really exciting. And these next couple days, I think now 4 or 5 days, I don't know, unless if they release another thing at this point, is going to be very, very tough for me to handle. I just want to get into 1.1. I want to play Jinxie. I want to play Changli. I want to farm out. I want to get to level 60. I want to do everything so that I can enjoy my endgame experience with WutheringWaves and testing out all my waifus. In any case though, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment. Let me know what you think about the new event. If you're excited for Mount Firmament, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for all the support and all the shorts and all the videos I've been doing recently, guys. Feel free to let me know what you want to see as well. Goodbye. See ya. Adios.